One of the most debated strategic decisions of World War II was the Allied delay in opening a Western front in Europe. While the Soviet Union was locked in a brutal war with Nazi Germany on the Eastern Front from 1941 onward, British and American forces waited until June 6, 1944, D-Day, to launch a full-scale invasion of Western Europe through Normandy. This delay fueled Soviet suspicions and shaped post-war geopolitics. Why did the Allies wait so long? Was it caution, logistics, or politics? Let's break down the reasons behind this critical decision and its long-term consequences. 1. The unexpected fall of France and Britain's early isolation. When Germany invaded France in May 1940, it quickly defeated Allied forces. Britain was left to stand alone after the fall of France and the evacuation from Dunkirk. From 1940 to 1941, the UK lacked the strength to launch a cross-channel invasion. After Germany invaded the Soviet Union in Operation Barbarossa, June 1941, the USSR became the main ground force fighting Hitler. Until the US entered the war in December 1941, the Western Allies simply did not have the resources or manpower to contemplate a major invasion of Europe. 2. The US entry and Germany first strategy. Following the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States entered the war. While the Pacific became a key theater, the Allies agreed on a Germany first policy. Defeating Hitler would be the top priority. But agreeing on what to do in Europe was more complicated. The Soviet Union, facing catastrophic losses, demanded a second front to relieve German pressure. The Western Allies promised to open one, but hesitated. 3. Logistics and planning. The invasion would be monumental. A cross-channel invasion required massive amounts of landing craft, transport ships and supplies. Air and naval superiority. A secure staging area in the UK. Detailed intelligence on German defenses. Such a complex operation couldn't be rushed. The Allies knew that a failed invasion could prolong the war, or lose it outright. The failed Dieppe raid in 1942, where Canadian forces suffered heavy losses, reinforced this lesson. 4. Mediterranean strategy, the soft underbelly. Instead of a direct assault on France, the Allies focused on the Mediterranean. In 1942 they launched Operation Torch, invading North Africa. In 1943, they invaded Sicily and Italy, knocking Mussolini from power and forcing Germany to fight in southern Europe. Churchill favored this soft underbelly approach, hoping to weaken Germany through its periphery. But Stalin saw it as a stalling tactic, diverting resources from a direct confrontation in the West. 5. Fear of failure and the memory of World War I. British and American planners remembered the horrors of trench warfare in World War I. A premature land invasion of France risked a bloody stalemate. They wanted to ensure that when the Western Front was opened, it would succeed decisively. This meant waiting until German forces were stretched thin by fighting in the east and south. The Allies also used the time to build up their industrial and military power. By 1944, they had a vastly superior supply chain, air force, and intelligence network. 6. Deception and preparation for D-Day. By late 1943, plans for Operation Overlord, the Normandy invasion, were underway. To ensure success, the Allies conducted Operation Bodyguard, a massive deception campaign to mislead the Germans about the invasion's location. Strategic bombing of German industry and infrastructure to cripple resistance. Opening the Western Front was no longer a question of if, but when. The Allies targeted spring 1944 for the assault. 7. The impact on the Soviet Union and post-war relations. The delay created deep Soviet resentment. Stalin believed the West intentionally waited while the USSR bore the brunt of German aggression. Over 20 million Soviets died during the war, many before D-Day. These suspicions laid the groundwork for post-war tensions. The Soviets viewed Western hesitation as betrayal, and this mistrust helped spark the Cold War. The delay in opening a Western front was driven by a mix of logistical reality, military caution, and strategic debate. While it frustrated the Soviet Union, the Allied High Command was determined not to repeat the mistakes of the past. When the invasion finally came in June 1944, it was a carefully executed and ultimately successful operation, one that led to the liberation of Western Europe. Still, the delay cast a long shadow. It helped defeat Hitler but also divided the post-war world into East and West.